Okay, you go from there and you start working on Broadway. How did that come about for you?
Well, I actually, before that, I was working, because working with Harry was like a 6-month thing. 6 months on, 6 months off. So I would work in off-Broadway and in workshops. I worked with none other than, he was Leroy Jones then, but he became Imam Amiri Baraka. And I worked in the Black Arts Theater, which he had on 125th Street. I also worked downtown with Woody King at Henry Street Settlement. And I did at least 10 to 15 off-Broadway shows down there with Henry Street. And I did maybe a couple of Broadway shows as well prior to, and I also wrote a couple of plays. One of my plays was a play called The Secret Place, which was about that guy. Remember the black guy who infiltrated the Black Panthers?
Yes.
And he,
I just read about him. You talking about out in Chicago? He was damn.
Yeah.
But and his name escapes me. But go ahead. I know
his
exactly
name escapes me
about.
too. And I understand he killed himself. But prior to that, right, me and Bill Duke got this thing together, which was produced 3 or 4 times in New York City. And my play this was before he killed himself, was more about knowing that a black man who's about my age is infiltrating black groups, and I know he's come from the South like me. He knows what's really happening, and he's infiltrating, basically being, an ear for white cops. And I wondered what he was going through in his head. So my play is about the nightmares that he was having doing his job, right? But getting off of that play, I had written that play, and sure enough, talking about how I got to TV, Lorne Michaels with Fred Hudson, a guy named Fred Hudson, who also had a workshop, said, hey, Lorne Michaels, he didn't start calling him, that's a producer who wants a black guy to be in the mix, right? And sure enough, I brought Lorne my play. He read it, and there were a couple of funny scenes in it, and he hired me as a writer, not as an actor. And my job was to come up with something funny in writing, and also to bring in other actors, because Lorne also wanted a black person on the Not Ready for Primetime Players. So I'm bringing in people like Oba Babatunde, Bill Duke, Trezana Beverly, who was a Tony Award winner, and a whole lot of very talented black people, and they refused them all. Until one day I went to, and I wasn't coming up with anything good, but one day I went to work, and I get out of the elevator, and somebody tells me, hey, Lorne wants to see you in the green room. Sure enough, when I go to the green room, Lorne is looking at the movie I made called Cooley High, in which I play a teacher named Mr. Mason.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yep. By the way, just to detract, that teacher is about a black teacher in the ghetto teaching kids in the ghetto, right?
Yes.
But at that time, I was teaching in public schools on the Lower East Side. I was actually at that time a teacher teaching in a ghetto school, teaching the ghetto kids. You know what?
Wow.
The producer didn't want me for the show, for the movie. Michael Schultz.
For Cooley High?
Right. Although that's what I was doing. I was actually doing the very thing that the part was about. Michael Schultz had to convince this woman to have me do that show. And it's one of the best things I ever did. Anyway, getting back to Lorne, I go to the green room, and he's looking at Cooley High. And when he gets through, because the other people, John Belushi, Gilda Radner, Lorraine Newman, Jane Curtin, had seen the movie and said, hey, you've got Garrett bringing in black actors. He's an actor too. And they had him look at Cooley High. And after that, when I got through, he said, Garrett, I want you to audition for the Not Ready for Prime Players. And I auditioned with Gilda Radner. And from that audition, he made me a member of the Not Ready for Primetime Players. That's how I got my first big TV thing.
Okay, you're calling it Not Ready for Primetime Players.
That's what it is.
Is that what we commonly know of as Saturday Night Live?
That, to this day, that's the name of the group who does that. Their official name is Not Ready for Primetime Players.
Wow, I did not know that. Yeah. I'm thinking it's just Saturday Night Live.
That is, from the very beginning, that 7-member group was called the Not Ready for Primetime Players.
Get out of here.
Yeah.